here. All right. So we hated the Marvels, and then we watched the Marvels. Now we're going to review the Marvels. This is kind of a backwards way to do it. I mean, this is a film that absolutely is lambasted. The reviews have already been out for 4 months. You know this film sucked, and you don't have to go see the movie. Everybody already put in their 2 cents about how horrible this film is. And my whole thing was, you're full of crap. At least you got to watch the movie and then review it. So I did that. I watched the film. Dalton watched the film. Now we're going to review it and tell you exactly how freaking crappy this movie is. But first,
it's as bad as you thought it was going to be.
I don't think so.
Arguably.
I do not think so. I've said this backstage. I'll say this here. This is going to be the most positive, negative review you've ever heard, because this movie is odd. Now, when we were talking, you brought up the fact, okay, it kind of reminds you of Batman and Robin, kind of reminds you of Supergirl, kind of reminds you of all of the bad films that have come and graced our superhero world. And this is one of them. Make no mistake. This is not a good movie. There are wonderful elements to it. I stand by what I'm about to say so wholeheartedly. I stand by what I said before. You're full of crap if you're talking about how bad a movie is before you see it. You're full of crap if you're going, hey, I knew it was going to be bad, and here's a review that says my opinion.
Was preordained.
Yeah. So there's but there's some good things in this film. So you might actually see the most positive negative review from me. And here's the number one good thing. Ms. Marvel. I like the TV show. She is absolutely a joy to watch. As a matter of fact, I'm going to give this to the whole cast. I think I don't even
tried.
What more than tried, they had fun, and it's infectious. There are a lot of scenes where you can tell they're having a great time, and it's easy to have a great time watching them. There's so many problems here, and then we're going to get to them as we go. We're going to spoil the fuck out of this movie. It's a bad film.
You're probably not going to see it anyway, but our review shouldn't change your mind.
I am not going to bother not spoiling this. You want to know the quick non-spoiler review? This movie is horrible. It is not a good movie at all. Does it suck? No.
The word that I used while we were talking backstage was unfinished, and I stand by that with flying colors, because in order to fail, a movie first has to try. In order to piss me off, a movie has to try to piss me off. This movie's biggest sin is that everything about it, except for the performances, not the characters, mind you, but the performances, were unfinished. It was literally like, I remember being in high school and sometimes doing my homework on the bus because I was too lazy to do it the night before. Mm-hmm. It's as though they wrote this script on napkins while they were driving into the studio to film it that day.
I think it's funny that you think there was a script. This movie does not have a first act. The way it truly feels like you're coming in late to the movie. You could sit there, watch all the previews, all the credits. It says, go, here it is. And you will feel like, wait, where's the first part of the movie? This film it's cut down. It's like a $1.45, right? It's about an hour.
And it could
45.
still lose 20 minutes and not miss anything.
Well, I'm gonna say differently. It feels like almost every scene needs some sort of explanation. It seems like they cut out so much of this movie that they lost the story. They lost it's just a whole bunch of scenes, a whole bunch of fights. Viscerally, this couldn't be a good action film if you turn your brain off, go in, and you watch, because the fight scenes, they're exciting. They do what they're, but why are they doing what they're doing? You lose so much of the story.
here's why I say that it probably could have lost 20 minutes and still not been all that affected. It's because roughly 20 minutes of the movie is just written by montage, basically, where they go to a random planet and they do random things for random reasons that make no sense.
We're gonna get to that, by the way, in just a little bit.
And then stuff happens, and then they go to another random planet, and then stuff happens, and then they move. Like that is the plot mechanic of this movie. It's not anything character driven. It's not anything villain driven. It's not anything world building driven. It's and then stuff happened. Moving on.
Yeah. Now the movie starts off. I'm gonna try to remember this. Saw it yesterday, and I got to tell you, it is leaving my brain very freaking quick. So let's get this down here. The movie starts, and they're doing things. Don't ask me what. There's an anomaly in all the little space jumpers. You know, like in Guardians when they do the hexagon thing and then they fly through it and they jump through space. There's wrong with those something wrong with those jumpers. And they've got their little sword thing, like they do in the comics, by Earth, and of course Captain Marvel's out there, and Nick Fury says, "Hey, can you go check one of these?" Her and Monica Rambeau touch this energy at the same time as Ms. Marvel's playing around with a bangle that she got in the TV show, and that makes them flip. Now you've seen this, not spoiling anything. From here on in, anytime they use their powers, they change positions. It's not they say that, oh, every time we change we use our powers. No, because you'll see Kamala Khan throw her discs, or they'll use some sort of energy, or they'll fly.
It's plot convenient.
Yeah, it when we need it to, when we need them to flip around, okay, they're gonna use they're gonna flip. Okay.
Which they could have solved by simply saying it's completely randomized as long as we're using our powers. Like that would have solved that plot mechanic. But
they could have said it's because like you see Monica Rambeau fly, you see and she goes through things without switching. You could see sometimes Kamala Khan will power up her fists. Okay, fine. And it doesn't work. So you could say when they use their powers with effort or something along those lines, it would have flipped, but it really is just random.
You know what else they could have done? They could, if they were as smart as your average Rick and Morty writer, they could have said it had something to do with quantum entanglement, and then it being random would have been like the Heisenberg uncertainty principle or something. That would have at least justified why is it random? Why is it plot convenient?
So no. I got to tell you, right away, this movie jumps right into confusion, and because but I liked this. I thought, okay, I get this, because for the first 20 minutes, they like Captain Marvel, she's on the Kree planet and she gets attacked by Kree, and then it flips, and Monica Rambeau is all of a sudden like, why am I getting attacked by Kree? And every time, all throughout it, the movie challenges the viewer to keep up. It really does, because this fight scene, this action scene goes on for 20 minutes. We have no explanation at this point. So that's the introduction for the audience into this film. It is just straight up follow us, and it's just montage of fight. If you can follow along, it's entertaining. I was able to. I found this to be entertaining, and the more chaotic it got, I actually liked it, because why would they stop for the hero to go, the fuck am I? You know, or anything like that? There was no story. When Kamala Khan was thrown onto the Kree ship, the Kree were like, yep, new person, kill him. And the chaos kept up. I liked the chaos. And then they stopped and they decided to talk. And it began to suck. That's why I think it's crazy. You'd think there was a script. This is damn near the worst of like a Will Ferrell. What do you call it? When they just make shit up. I'm sorry, my memory is horrible. I'm actually going to be
sketch comedy.
Nah, you know what I'm talking about. Improvisation. That's what I'm trying to say. But it really does seem like everything that is not fight scene is improv. And it also feels like they're going, oh, well, here, let me tell you the backstory of new fight. it's just like it clips right into this this new thing and all. It's gosh, I'm trying to remember what happens next, but you know what? I'm not going to be able to do this. Normally we go beat by beat. I don't
Yeah,
remember
but
that
it's
much of the
the
film anymore.
movie. The movie defies you to do that because the movie doesn't know what is going on at any given interval. So
Yeah, it's and I got it. I'm like, okay, so what happened after that initial fight? They decide, okay, they've got to go after Ronin chick. Like there's a female Ronin. Oh my gosh, you want to talk about Marvel has always had a villain problem. Like name the memorable villains. Well, you have Loki, you have Thanos.
Hela was pretty decent because Kate Blanchett.
But point being is, out of 20 movies, you might be able to make a fistful. That's it. This villain, I think her name was Daria or Darden or something like that.
Dar-Ben. It's a character
Dar-Ben.
from the comics, but they completely changed the character, and of course, then just swapped it. And
she goes, "Hold my bear." Oh wait, you forgot. No, wait, no, I'm here. Well, don't forget me. No, you forget her while she's on screen. That's how bad this freaking villain is. She is so unforgettable.
And if I could make a suggestion of how I would fix this movie, cut out the villain entirely and make an incursion the plot thing. Make an incursion the mechanic, and then
she was pretty much other than a reason to fight Kree, she was absolutely useless. The villain has really, it feels like the villain has no bearing on the movie except for to start what you're talking about. At the end, you do get kind of an incursion.
The backstory, such as it is, for those even having any desire to pay attention, is Captain Marvel, in her Captain Marveling, screwed up the Kree homeworld, so now Little Miss Forgettable Villain is going to Ronin her, and she's going to Ronin her by using the second bangle that is the twin to Kamala's, which actually turns out to be the quantum bands, to siphon the energy away from random planets and funnel it back to the Kree. And she's going to make it personal to Carol by making it every planet that Captain Marvel has saved in the last 30 years or whatever.
I'm going to say this because I just remember the movie didn't start off. I remember how the movie started off. The movie started off with an animated drawing that Kamala Khan did of her basically becoming best friends with Captain Marvel. She writes Captain Marvel fanfic. She's a huge fan, just like in the comics.
And I'm sure her fanfic is better than this movie.
But it actually, yeah. By the way, I am a fan of the TV show. I had a great time with the Ms. Marvel TV show. More to the point, that little girl is infectious. She's a fangirl, by the way.
Yeah,
she's
she
the one
has
that challenged
the acting
Kevin
chops.
Feige when he said, "Well, this is the 616." She goes, "No, it isn't." And he literally says, "Well, it's our version of the 616."
No.
And this girl goes, "That's why it's not the 616." I love the fact that she is a fangirl.
Good for you, Iman.
You do have to take her age into account. She is a fangirl through the movies, which I am sure many young people who were born or were kids in 2008 and then grew up with the Marvel Universe, I'm sure if they do read comics, they were introduced to them through the movies. But you could tell she loves doing this. She's doing
what she's always wanted to do, and you can tell she wants to be there. But
every time she's on screen, this movie just goes beep. It really does.
It's the only time the movie has a pulse, really.
It really, yes. Which actually, since she's with the other two are affected. Brie Larson, I'm going to lose viewers, I'm going to lose subs on this one, is actually a good actress. She got an Oscar for The Room. She's a good actress, but she's an understated actress. And so she does a lot of eye and face stuff rather than a lot of vocal acting and such. So I get that. I get that people look at Harrison Ford. Harrison Ford, if you watch casually, looks like he's been playing Harrison Ford for the last 40 years. Yeah. But if you actually watch the subtleties in his performance, you can tell the difference in the characters. Because Harrison Ford, and some people are going to be, wait, you just compared Brie Larson to Harrison? Yes, I did. because there are actors like that. You could call them personality actors. Humphrey Bogart, for fuck's
The
sake.
snipers should be pointing their guns.
I know, right?
No.
Humphrey Bogart's one of those. I mean, there's actresses and actors who just they do that. They act in that way. But when, and you can actually tell the difference when Brie Larson is by herself, she's more stoic and she acts like she did in the first Captain Marvel movie. And when it's the three of them, she's smiling, she's having a great time, and you can tell that
she's still not a likable character. But
I think I'll tell you what, I'm going to agree with you, but this is better than the original Captain America or Captain Marvel movie.
For her performance alone, yes,
no,
sure.
No, sir. We're going to talk about this at the end, but definitely this is the better Brie Larson performance of the two.
Yeah, because
unsubscribe.
That's why I phrased it that way, because this movie is certainly not better than the first one.
Okay, so but they do open with the Captain or the Ms. Marvel animated stuff that was in the TV show. I thought it was some of the best elements of the TV show because she's a kid, and she's raised like a kid. She's not raised like a young adult. You know, she's somebody who plays with her friends. You know, she's 14, I think 15 at the time.
I think so.
It's a tight family unit, and they understand that she's a kid and lets her be a kid. This isn't somebody who's grown up on TikTok and just kind of lost their innocence so fast. So I do enjoy the element of her. I think Brie Larson steps up her role. I also think that Monica Rambeau is just buried. She's there, and a couple of times she has a few lines. I like the fact that
I exist. I'm in the movie.
She's very militaristic in the fact that she understands who Nick Fury. I think that boy tagged me. Yeah, he did. Nick Fury is her boss, so she says yes or no, sir. She follows orders, that kind of stuff, and I kind of like that part because too many times there were no girl bosses. I've got to say, this is also something I liked about the movie. There are no girl bosses. This is the first time I have seen in Marvel in a long time where they tried to portray strong women, not strong female characters. They didn't play them like girl bosses. They actually gave them flaws. Even they gave them flaws. Captain Marvel wasn't rushing in and one punching everybody. They didn't do that. I don't need no man. You know, my dick's bigger than you kind of thing that they normally do. So that is definitely.
Here's a question. Is it that way because they intended it to be that way, or is it that way because the writing, like so many things in this movie, seemed to have been handed in unfinished?
Well, that might be it. That might have actually been the saving grace, because you didn't have a modern Marvel script writer there to fuck up the characters.
Like to She-Hulk it.
Yeah. Now, like I said at the beginning, we're getting some more viewers, and I'll just say this straight up: this film is absolutely unfinished. This film is not good. But the best thing about it was the trio, the Marvels.
The actual performances, not the character writing, by the way. But
when they were together, they had fun, and it actually bleeds over into the audience. That being said,
the rest of the movie is so unwatchable, it doesn't matter.
There's so much bad. I wouldn't call it unwatchable. Once again, we're going to get to, I'm saving that for the end. So they're sent along to find out about this female Ronin character, Darby, the elf. Yes, no, I'm not gonna say, look, they didn't give a fuck about her. I'm not going to give a fuck about her. Sorry, it's just not going to happen. I don't care. They didn't care about the villain. I don't care about the villain. Like I said, you will forget her as you're watching her. She's
more forgettable than the villain in the Catwoman Halle Berry movie.
You know what? No, I think I'm going to say this. Sharon Stone in the Catwoman movie is more memorable because at least she was cheesy and over the top. This one didn't know what movie she was in. And I think that was part of the problem.
Again, the best thing for this movie would have been skipping a villain entirely and just making the natural disaster of an incursion the villain.
Hey, Ahsoka. Yeah, I know this is going to bomb, and I know it's there. Everybody's saying it's going to be the lowest grossing movie. With all the YouTubers out there going to see it, I don't see how that is possible. All the YouTubers want to go watch it so they can rag on this.
With it a new one.
Yeah, that might be a situation where it's like, how the hell did we make $100 million opening? Because everybody wants to trash it, so they're rushing out. Either that or stuff like F movies 8 and 1, 2, 3 movies is
Drink
getting
up me heart is your hoe.
overloaded right now. Okay, so I'm going to move over to a certain part. There is a certain part of the movie that people were ragging on before it came out. It's the most horrible thing in the world, and gosh darn it, when you watch it, your dick's gonna fall off, your heart's gonna explode, you're gonna get cancer from it because it's just that bad. And this is where they need help, and they go to a planet that communicates through singing.
Oh,
And
the song planet.
there is a dance there. I mean, there's not a full-on Bollywood. I heard, I think it was Critical Drink. I'm sitting through a movie that has a full-on Bollywood dance. Stop fucking drinking then, because it didn't happen, you dink. Seriously, it's got no. One guy dances with one girl. Oh, okay. Maybe they're talking about when they're walking down the street and the music's playing and everybody's very happy because we find out once again, we're going to spoil the fuck out of this movie that you don't want to see anyway. But we get there, we find out that Brie Larson has a relationship with somebody there, and they are celebrating their princess coming home. So they do this thing where she's walking ahead and everybody's dancing, kind of like the opposite of Black Panther 2, when everybody's dancing at the funeral. He's dead. Mm-hmm. Yeah, this case at least they're like, hey, the princess is coming. So I did like that scene because the three of them are walking down with everybody behind them. Yeah, the princess is here, and they're playing the music. And the only one dancing is Kamala Khan. She's like, hey. And she even asked, wait, y'all aren't dancing? Yeah. I thought that was a good character moment for Kamala Khan. That didn't bother me because we've seen this kind of thing before. And we, once again, spoilers, 5, 4, 3, 2. Okay. We find out that Brie Larson had a marriage of convenience to somebody, to the prince there. So she's now the princess of this singing planet. And she meets her guy, and they have a dance together. That's it. That's the big Bollywood dance. That's all.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you this. I was like, holy Toledo, they made Brie Larson up good. I know you might not feel the same way. You're the gay guy, but it's like they did. She was in a Captain Marvel dress, and I was like, she cleans up well. That's all. And they made sure that she looked like the Disney princess. And I'm pretty sure they meant this, by the way, to make her look like a Disney princess.
Synergy, yeah.
They gave her a ball gown that looked like the Captain Marvel outfit. And so they do that while they're doing their exposition. They have them do a little dance, and of course, in order to communicate, she's singing. Which I was thinking, why
the Marvels
not?
Captain Marvel ballroom gown available at Disney Disney Springs.
But the thing is I was thinking, why not? If you've got Brie Larson, who can sing from Scott Pilgrim, like 15 years ago. Why hasn't she been in more musicals in the first place? Why not use it? Why not use it? So here's the thing. This is the scene that everybody freaking crashes. Everybody blasts. My favorite part of the movie. You want to know why?
Musical.
I haven't seen it before. Yeah. I mean, you could say, yeah, it's part musical. I had not seen that before. Everything in this freaking movie is derivative of something else. We've seen it all before, and here's something different. So yeah, I mean, well, actually, you can say
it's a shame though that it's basically a complete non sequitur to the overall non-plot. But yeah,
No, no, she didn't marry. He looked like a 20-year-old Asian guy that was in there. But yeah, I got to tell you, this musical segment, which now that I'm thinking of, it could be a derivative of the Eternal. So the most original part of the movie does have something that matches it. Still, I thought it was the best part because this is something we really haven't seen before, guys. So
well, and you're an easy sell for Disney musicals, so
I am an easy sell for
Sure
musicals. Yes, that is. I've actually said that. 2 of my favorite films, and it is a list that constantly changes. But in my top 5, always is Mary Poppins and Singing in the Rain. So yeah, but that's with like Jaws, Raiders of the Lost Ark, and Star Wars. So
but
it was fun. You sound like you want to blast it. Go on, blast. But
I'm not gonna blast it because I'm an easy sell for musicals too. I am, but again, it's one of those. The plot moves because stuff happens, and
the plot sucks every time. Okay, I'm sorry.
Well, and even the good stuff, like arguably that musical scene, is a complete non sequitur. And I'm sorry, but if 20 minutes of your 145-minute movie, an hour and 40-minute movie, can be like just non sequiturs that could be cut from the movie, and it would make the movie flow better.
Non sequitur.
I know, but it's like, it feels very much like they broke one of the cardinal rules of writing, which is they published the first draft, which you are never supposed to do. And even that draft was an incomplete draft that they wrote on some napkins at a bar while they were drunk.
This movie needs a first act. It needs to, okay, this is what's going on. They in the middle, like as a throwaway line, they tell us why this Ronin character doesn't like Captain Marvel. Instead, it should have been set up at the very beginning. There was not enough in that second act. Okay, we get 3 seconds of, I'm going to put on a stupid hat. By the way, I'm married here. Wait, what? There should have been more to flesh that out. Maybe even since there's a huge fight to save this planet, perhaps we know a little bit more about it than they communicate through song. As a matter of fact, it was mentioned, they don't understand you unless you're singing. There's a joke there where the prince starts talking. You go, wait, you don't have to sing them? She looks and goes, no, he's bilingual. I just spoiled the best joke of the movie for you there.
Yep. Only good joke. And it was there.
Oh, and by the way, speaking of joke, can we talk about Nick Fury for a little bit here? Nick Fury, who we just spent 6 episodes with the most dour man on the fucking planet, is up here being freaking Henny Youngman. He is a one-liner. He is Taika Waititi in this movie.
Poor Sam Jackson.
Yes,
he must be dying inside. Like, I feel so bad for it.
Oh my gosh! What the? Here's a one-liner.
Black girl magic. Oh, I hate it. I hate it so much.
The film. That is all he did. I saw the 7th season. It's just there's no plot like structure. Every other Marvel movie, the thing is just all over the place, and it is. There's, on a visceral level, this movie could be fun. Turn your brain off. Watch the fights. Look at the pretty lights, enjoy the 3 together. Fine.
Okay, but I think that's even an insult to most turn your brain off sorts of movies, because there are a lot of fun popcorn turn your brain off sorts of movies that have much more meat on the bone and much more impact on you as a viewer than this movie ever will hope to in its wildest LSD fueled fantasies.
I mentioned that this is going to be the most positive negative review. This movie does not suck. This movie is horrifically bad.
Because you have to try in order to fail. I think
that's it. We are. I tell this joke where it's like, oh, you made a comic. Let's put it right up. Meaning that the only thing that makes this a movie is the fact that it's a movie.
In the theaters.
Yeah, and that's the same way. Oh, you made
It would have actually worked better for them on Disney Plus, I'm
It
thinking.
probably would have. The only thing that makes this movie a movie is that it's a movie. It's the same where if you get a bad comic, there's art, there's writing. It means nothing. It's paper thin. I say, oh, we're gonna. Oh, that's so cute. You made. Let's put it on the fridge here. This is a movie for the fridge. It's absolutely just that. Let's see. Hey, Clint, that joke has Black Girl. Yeah, that was something else. Monica Rambeau can't fly, so Sammy Jackson goes, Black Girl Magic. She goes and just flies up. It's like, oh goodness.
Okay, one, how did Nick know that would even remotely work? Two, just why? Why that phrase? Why that intonation? Why anything about that line?
It's so weird and so okay, so I'm actually trying to remember. I think after this Song Planet fight, they go back to Sword, and they have the Flurkins that like all throughout the movie, they find these eggs around, and this is what you see in the preview with all the cats flying around. Turns out they're Flurkin eggs, and they all show up. The only purpose of the Flurkin is to get people off the satellite and down to Earth. Yeah. I thought it was, also okay, they want to battle the Kree. Let's Flurkin bomb them or something like that. No, that's not used. Now
that would actually be using something that we established, and we can't. We're contractually obligated to not use anything we establish and establish nothing we do use.
The funniest thing about the Flurkins was having them all try to get all the people who work on it, because they were like, no, I don't want to be eaten. And they're going, it's for your own
alien
good.
Cats.
Yeah, it's only for your own good. And they aim the Flurkins at the people to get, not going to lie, Brie Larson is looking good in this movie. She did, especially in the gown. Now, okay, there's also something another thing I did like. When they do the final battle, Carol Danvers is in Mar-Vell's outfit. She's not in the red, blue, I'm a Nazi poster. Yeah, it's the original Mar-Vell outfit. I don't think it's not this one that she's normally known for. I liked that. I know for a fact we're never going to get Mar-Vell because they fucked that up in the first film. So at the very least, we get to see the costume. They did give Monica Rambeau her outfit as well, not her 1980s one, but the modern one. And I dug on that. I didn't really care too much for the change on Kamala Khan's outfit because it was too flashy. I like the fact that her mom made the costume in the TV show, and it just looks like somebody. Well,
it's a sign that she's in the big leagues now. I think in the same way as, shouldn't she technically be called Quasar now because she has both?
Oh, she's got both bands. Yeah. She is officially. I was waiting for a Quasar to come in. Like, who's really going to get the bands here? And no. Ms. Marvel has both of them. So my thinking is that this might actually bleed over to Ms. Marvel season 2, which hopefully they'll be making. I
wouldn't hold your breath on that one, given how this movie is going to do at the box office. I think the 40 million is even maybe a little bit too optimistic at this point.
You know what? I hope. I'm not going to say that. I actually hope this makes a lot of money. I really do. I don't think it will. Nobody thinks it will, but I want them to continue.
Nobody really wants it to either.
Right. Well, I see that as wrong think. Of course, I'm not going to ostracize people for having that as much as I already have. But the thing is I want superhero movies have done horrible this year. I want them to do well so they continue to make superhero movies. I defy everybody who says, well, there's too many fuck you.
Yeah, no, there's not.
Hold on, I'm not done. I'm about to go on a rant.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because I sat through 35 years worth of romantic comedies, worth of buddy cop films, doing the same thing over and over. Now I get my superhero movies, and all I hear this from people who are comic book collectors. well, there's just too many superhero movies. No, you're fucking
Yeah,
ridiculous.
see only 6 in an entire genre in any given year, but
Yeah.
oh well.
How many in horror films are there every year where you have somebody doing the slasher bit that we saw in the 1980s over and over and over?
There were 5 in January.
Nobody's calling for the end of fucking horror.
Yeah, there were 5 in January. I think 4 in October. So
it's ridiculous. We're getting tired. No, what you're doing is you're getting tired of the advertisement. It seems like it's everywhere. But there's really, like you said, there 6 movies this year that were superheroes. How many?
Yeah,
horrors?
A couple.
How many?
You know 3 DC, 3 Marvel, maybe an occasional independent. So between 6 and 7 movies in an entire genre in a year.
So no, I call out people who do that shit. No, I don't want superhero movies to bomb. I want more, because here's the thing: we're going to get good ones, like we got with Guardians of the Galaxy, like we got with the Trials of Shazam, like we got with Blue Beetle. The fact that people didn't go see them doesn't change the fact that they were good. And then we're going to get mediocre ones, like we did with The Flash. I enjoyed it, but I recognize that was a pretty mediocre film. And then we're going to get the bad ones, like we did with Marvels. I'm hoping and praying that Aquaman is good. It's done by the same people who did the first movie, and it seems like everybody's losing their fucking memory that this was the one that made $1 billion fucking dollars.
Yeah, the trailers for Aquaman also look good, to be fair. Like,
so it kills me, this whole we got to be negative about every goddamn thing. And we know, much like you're not seeing 100 million superheroes in movies in a year, you're not seeing a whole bunch of people talking bad about them. You're seeing 6, but because they get most of the views in the comic book world, it seems like that's the only goddamn opinion. So anyway, I want to make good no fucking shit, Mike. Everybody does. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I'm with Mike on this one.
But everybody's with Mike.
You got to punish the bad ones, or they won't learn how to make good ones again.
That is some ignorant stuff. That is ignorance. Oh, I want him to make good movies. No shit. Of course we want him to make good movies. But here's the thing.
But that entails punishing them when they screw up.
I'm talking. You hear me talk. Give me a chance to rant, okay? Here's the thing: if these movies don't make money, if we all of a sudden go, well, I'm boycotting everything, then they're not going to make the good ones. We're always we're always going to get good. We're always going to get bad. We're always going to get mediocre. That's just the way of things. Even as far as the MCU is concerned, looking all throughout, you got your good, you got your bad, you got your mediocre.
But
that's
you have
just
to,
the way it is.
You have to make sure they see the difference in the bottom line. They need to see a progression of when we try, we succeed. When we completely phone it in, like this movie,
and
we bomb horribly. But
that's not the message. That's not the message that's going out. That's not the message that's giving that we're giving. We're giving, we want all superheroes to bomb. That has been the message since fucking Shazam this year. Every goddamn movie that had a superhero movie, that was a superhero movie this year, started off with the black pills out there going, well, this movie's going to suck because it's going to make only 10% of what that movie made. This movie is going to suck because it's not directed by Zack fucking Snyder. They are actively wishing, they're actively hoping and calling for the failure of the genre. So instead of getting superhero movies, we're going to get more fucking 27 dresses.
Well, video game movies will probably be next.
The video game, yeah. Well, the Super Mario and Five Nights at Freddy's did well.
Yeah, video game movies and anime movies, because The Little Battle Angel did really, really well, and so did Detective Pikachu.
By the way, I hope Mike took that the way. I mean, I know I'm excited. I don't really mean to.
I know.
Well, I hope he
I
does
know.
too. You know, Mike's been around for a bit, and I've gone after the chat a couple times, but it's all in good.
There's nuances here, excluding obviously the black pills who are black pilled about everything, including the crickle drinkers and the Garys and
by
the
the way,
Maulers and things.
I invited everybody, but I said I don't know what LK is going to do on this because I didn't like the movie either. So usually LK's the black pill, and he's like this, but yeah, that's the way it is. I do want this movie to do well. I know it's bad, but here's my reasoning. How much a movie makes does not bother me usually, and it doesn't affect me. Like this movie bombed, therefore it's bad. No, this movie's bad, therefore it bombed. There's a difference. If you take to account, oh, it's bad, it deserves to bomb, or it's a bomb and which means it's bad, you forget films like Blade Runner.
Yeah,
or Big
there are a lot of really great
Trouble.
movies that didn't break even.
Most of the movies you think were great in the 80s did not do well.
Yeah.
And so I don't see a box office as a mark of quality. I really don't.
That being said, I don't want this movie to do well because in addition to the fact that this movie doesn't deserve to do well because it is bad.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, I do have to humble myself here. I do have to say that I absolutely understand what Michael's saying. I absolutely understand what you're saying. Yeah. This movie doesn't deserve to do well because it's bad.
Everything wrong with every stereotype of the genre. But here's the other thing. I'm hoping that if this movie does bomb, like noteworthily, like historically bomb, it will incite Marvel Studios to course correct, because not only is this movie bad, but I don't have high hopes for the Thunderbolts. I don't have high hopes for the Kang Dynasty or Secret Wars. I don't have high hopes for anything they're doing because the pieces they have to work with aren't very good to start off with, and the last couple of years we've seen bad writers being put in charge of these IPs and getting, you put crap in, you get crap out. I don't want that to happen. So I'm hoping
I get that.
If this movie bombed in a historical noteworthy sense, Kevin Feige will go, okay, I have to, tighten the belt and take the reins again because clearly I'm not delegating well.
I agree with Omar Harris here, and I would like to see more of that. I enjoyed Ant-Man for the heist movie. I enjoyed the Winter Soldier for the spy movie.
Joker is a Scorsese movie, etc.
Yeah, we were supposed
to Batman is a David Fincher movie, etc.
We were supposed to get a horror film in New Mutants, and they backed the hell off on that. They didn't make it as scary as it should have been. And I do agree. I mean, we got Werewolf by Night, which is a soft horror film. It's a 30s
horror film, basically.
Yeah, Werewolf by Night is a classic 1940s horror film. And I do agree. They need to expand. They need to. It's more than just superhero punching supervillain or superhero.
Yeah, Doctor Strange 2 was Lovecraft, which thank you, Sam Raimi, for being on the same page as me for that.
I don't think Doctor Strange went far enough.
No, but it was certainly a start and certainly an upgrade to the first one. Which,
by the way,
given that that's the only movie in Phase 4 I can say that about, that it actually improved on the first one.
T-Dog, I like what he's saying. People still saying MCU unironically. By the way, my title is abso-freaking-lutely ironic because I do not like that saying. I've called it out. I think it's full of shit.
But if the algorithm likes it, then milk it for all it's worth.
Why not? Why not?
I think you did the same thing on our Multiverse of Madness review, didn't you?
Something along those lines. The point being is that anybody saying MCU like, oh no, I don't like female characters, I'm calling them out. Sensational She-Hulk was a very popular comic and very well loved.
It wasn't well adapted.
You cannot tell me that any of the black pills didn't want a good She-Hulk movie. You cannot convince me of that.
They even admitted as much. They like She-Hulk the character, and they didn't adapt.
It does not matter what they say behind it. because what you're projecting when you do the MCU or you wear a shirt that says "Make Marvel Male Again," you're not saying we want good female characters. You're saying we don't want female characters. That's the whole point of it. They're not advocating for good when they put that out there. Now, behind the video, like this one, it says the Marvels MCU at its worst. It gives cancer a good name. Behind the video, it might be something completely different. But what you're seeing, what the message that's being put forth is
the ethos.
We don't want female, we don't want female characters. That's it. I wish, hey, but look, MCU is a great thing to put on t-shirts. You're going to make a freaking mint, with the marketing on MCU. I get it. That's brilliant. But that's not the message. That's not the message they believe in. Therefore, I'm sorry, you got to be honest to your audience. But I do think the same thing. Anytime I see somebody with the MCU, I think, you're full of shit.
But anyway, back to the Marvels. Shall we
kind of got off on a
Shall
thing.
we spoil the only reason why anyone would go to see this movie, which is the post-credit, the mid-credit scene?
We're gonna get there. I guess that's the big thing, right? They do the ending. Monica Rambeau
winds up in another universe, and Beast and the other X-Men are there.
Well, okay, you just jumped right on into it, man. No build up.
And it's Kelsey Grammer, and I was so happy to see him. It almost made it worth it. It didn't, because one scene in a crap movie does not a good movie make.
The big reveal, if you haven't found out, is that Kelsey Grammer as the Beast returns. Now, I heard it was going to be Robert Downey Jr., so I was very pleasantly surprised when he pops in. I was like, holy crap, because I'm somebody who stays away from all the spoilers I could stay away from. And so when I saw him, it was, but who was Monica Rambeau's mom dressed as? Because at first I was Binary. Okay. Yeah, I was like that.
That's why there was the binary star system symbol on her chest.
I was looking at it. I was like, this looks familiar. It was like,
she's binary.
Memory these days. Yeah. So that was the big reveal. And I was like, okay. Yeah. Now I want this movie to do well, but it ain't. It's not going to,
just like the Henry Cavill scene wasn't enough to save Black Adam.
Well, here's the thing. And here's the problem with what they're doing is that Kevin Feige is not Kevin Feige anymore. With the end game,
he's not the man who gave us Avengers.
Right. And with the Thanos storyline, it seemed like things were more planned. But if something was popular here, they would definitely get to the next movie. Okay, we got to make another one of these. We got to make another one of these. How can we make the sequel? Guardians was a surprise hit. It's hard to think of now because it's such a big franchise, but Guardians was a surprise hit. So how do we incorporate Guardians into this big Thanos thing? It makes sense that they do it that way. Unfortunately, Kevin Feige,
that's not what they do anymore.
What was it? Phase 4, I think it's called, was so disjointed. It's like they were wrapping up
throwing crap at the wall to see what stuck.
Yeah, they were wrapping up stories from the Thanos storyline rather than moving us forward with whatever's happening. Kang was an accident, we find out. That he was popular in Loki, therefore we're going to scrap everything and we're going to make Kang the big bad, which wasn't a good idea because we just saw Kang run through with a sword.
Yeah,
and now, of course, he got beaten by Ant-Man, which I thought, okay, Ant-Man at the very least, we got to see how powerful he can be.
And out of universe, now Jonathan Majors is in hot water, so...
Right. Whoops. It's kind of like they didn't put Han, Leia, and Luke together, and then everybody died. So now they can never do it. So... Well, at least one person died, but you get what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
But
I think jumping right ahead to the multiverse was a mistake to begin with. I think they should have maybe had a Horde of Celestials, maybe had Galactus,
Galactus should have been the next, especially
Living Tribunal or somebody like that be the next big bet or the next big.
Considering they wanted to bring in the Fantastic Four, and
Galactus would have been the move. Yeah,
Galactus should have been the next one, but I don't think that there is somebody steering the ship anymore, like they did with the first line.
No, I think
Also,
it's because Kevin Feige keeps delegating, and the people he delegates it to aren't
right.
on his level.
Let's see. Guardians was terrible. I don't agree with that. I think doing the multiverse at all wasn't a good idea. I definitely agree with that. But yeah, it seems like there's not the same kind of direction to it. Also, they have to understand nobody wants to wait 20 years anymore. So if you have phase 4, let the phase 4 movies connect to where you have your Avengers movie or your Defenders or Champions or whomever the new group
Thunderbolts would have been the closest thing, but yeah.
Either way, point being is that let the phase 4 movies connect and build one story that leads to the big movie, or maybe even phase 4, phase 5. Don't make people wait 20 years to end your story again. You got to get to it. You got to get to it quick. And I also think it's something that if you go hour for hour, the phase 4 almost matched the first 3 phases. So
yeah, if you throw in the TV shows and the specials on top of it, yeah.
So, but that brings us to what everybody really wants to know here is, of course, opinions. Where did the Marvels end up for you? Is the Marvels the worst MCU movie?
No. And I will justify it by explaining that in order to fail as badly as something like Eternals failed or Thor the Dark World failed, it would have had to have tried to piss me off.
Mm-hmm.
I am the kind of person whose needle doesn't move on movies easily. If in order for me to love a movie, you really have to try to make me love the movie. In order to make me hate the movie, you really have to try to make me hate it. And the biggest problem with this movie is that it didn't try. It was unfinished. It was on autopilot. If I were a teacher giving it a report card, half of the grades that I would give it would be NA, non-applicable. And as such, it couldn't fail because it didn't try. But that being said, it's still not tried its way into a assignment written in crayon and half finished. So I give it a D+. And the only reason I don't give it an F is because it didn't piss me off like the Eternals did. The Eternals genuinely pissed me off. Thor the Dark World genuinely pissed me off.
The Eternals is the bottom of the barrel for you?
Yeah.
Okay. The worst thing associated with the MCU, not just movie, the worst thing associated with the MCU to me is What If. It's a horrible TV show that fucks the premise. You get the premise right, and it's almost like you make it to a C, which is you got to take moments in the MCU and give us a what if. And they didn't do that because the twist you had to do, that it just doesn't make sense. What is it? T'Challa, for some reason, is picked up by the Ravagers. Therefore, Thanos doesn't want to take away half the universe. Doesn't make sense. But as far as movies, when I get to ranking them, I have one measure. How much do I want to watch this movie again? That's the big measure. And in all honesty, I don't want to watch Captain Marvel again. I have said that Eternals is better. It would have been better as a TV show. So at least it's third. I don't think this is the worst film. I think that Ms. Marvel actually, the characters together and some other scenes just make it a little bit more fun, a little bit more entertaining than what we saw with the Eternals and the original.
I think also in terms of shows, She-Hulk was worse than this because She-Hulk actively tried to piss people off.
Well, so, yeah, She-Hulk was made out of spite. So yes, I would say that as well. So is this the worst of all MCU? Is this gonna kill everybody? Are you gonna
No, it's worse than the first one, but not as bad as She-Hulk, Thor the Dark World, or Eternals for me.
This movie is horrifically bad, but somehow it managed to not suck. That being said, you said D- on this one.
D+.
D+. Yeah, I'm going D-. This I cannot recommend this movie. I can recommend it for me because there were scenes that I could enjoy, but let's face it, a lot of you guys are going to watch that Musical Planet and just cringe the out. It's just going to happen. That to me was the best part of it. I can't recommend it for nothing. I told my wife I could probably recommend it to her because it's very much, as I was saying before, a visceral movie. You're going to watch it with your brain turned off. You're going to forget about it as you're walking. No, let's face it, you guys aren't going to go see it in the theaters. You're looking for your next movie on Disney Plus or whatever, you're going to forget about this film. I had a hard time remembering it. I saw yesterday. Just
remember that there are sites that you can go to watch movies for free, and that's all I'm going to say because we don't condone piracy.
10 minutes. Okay. All right. I've just been informed that it's about time to go. So, all righty, gang. But there you go. D-, D+. For once, you're easier on a movie than I am. It sounded like I was going to be easier on it, but in all honesty,
because you have to try in order to fail, and the movie is incomplete, so it doesn't get an F, it gets a NA, it gets a non-applicable because every aspect of story is unapplicable to this movie.
Maranya's saying she's going to wait for Disney Plus. It'll be out by Christmas, darling. It will be out by Christmas. This movie is not. It's not good. It is not good. It's so not good. But it's fun in some places. That's why I'm having a hard time with it. It's fun in some places, but it's like when now I'll watch Catwoman sometimes and I'll watch it to laugh at it. You know, because I know how bad it is. It's like, oh, I can't believe he's like.
I wonder if Nia DaCosta will give you an apology track like Joel Schumacher did for Batman.
Yeah, for Batman and Robin, Joel Schumacher watches commentary track. It's like, I'm sorry. This sucks. I'm sorry. This
rewind. Let me hear it again.
Yeah, so I can have fun watching a movie knowing it's bad, and that's the way this one is. I do not recommend it for anyone.
It's not even an enjoyable kind of bad. It's just there.
Yeah. The Marvels, the ladies, while they're together, that's the only reason to watch it. That being said, thank you very much, guys, for hanging out with us and listening to us rant. Mike, thank you very much for taking it all in stride. I certainly appreciate that, because when I was like, that's bullshit, I wasn't actually saying, I wasn't trying to insult anybody. It's just, sometimes I get passionate.
England team gets mad at the black pills again.
I would like to thank, of course, Dalton for joining me in on this and the fact that he had to watch it to get here. And I would like to thank Twiddles for giving me my corporal bars right here and me not noticing before I went on air. Sometimes I got to remind myself, I love the bird. I love the bird. It was really like that. I was like, okay, we're going to start here. And he flies away and click. God dang it.
Mustn't cook the bird and eat it.
Right. I love the bird. By the way, I love the bird so much. I just changed my my avatar, or whatever you call it, profile pic. It's now the bird with a sign that says I love comics. So there you go. What do we got going on tonight? Nothing in particular, but tomorrow we always get together and do something at about 8-9 o'clock. I might do something tonight if we're home. This is usually a day me and Gail go out, but she's saying let's go out early. So if we do anything, it'll be 9 o'clock tonight. Probably a reading of a bad comic book, because there are plenty out there right now. And Saturday, of course, we have the auction. We're going to have some good books. I don't know what the giveaways are yet, but I do know one of the big dogs is going to be a What If #1. What if the TV show sucked? What if the 1970s comic? Good. All right, guys, once again, please click like, share, subscribe. Going over to Ko-Fi, drop $1 in the tip jar, maybe commission a video. We're doing that again. As always, thank you very, very much for watching. Have a good day, guys.
Cheers, guys.